This week's episode is brought to you by Salt Creek, some of the best steel and TSS on the market, and Kicks Industries. The Smoke Series is my favorite. Welcome back to this week's YouTube Live in the podcast. My name is RD. Hopefully y'all having a good Wednesday. Glad y'all joined. Hopefully y'all doing good. There is some rain in the forecast, and I hope we all get it. So let's get to talking. Man, I got two talking points I'm going to talk about tonight. One of them is the Remington 700. How many people have a Remington 700? How many people knew that there was all kind of controversy about it back in the day? How many people knew that there was a bad part, possibly? We're just going to say possibly. It's never confirmed, but there was a recall. We're going to talk about some ammo, some copper, and who else knows what we might talk about. If you ever joined this live before, you know the squirrel gets off the track sometimes. So welcome. So much needed rain is on the way, possibly tonight into tomorrow. Definitely going to get some rain and coming the next couple of days. Much needed. Got a text today from the water company saying, hey, we need to save on water. The Catawba River is low, and now is the time to cut back and save all that you can. So hopefully we get some. What's up, Jay Bird? Hope you're doing good. I have not sent that item over to you yet. I haven't even told the wife about it yet. But possibly, if she's paying attention, I doubt she's watching. Hopefully she's not. But possibly Friday, I may acquire another mech 28 gauge reloader. I need another one. And we're going to talk about reloading tonight. That is definitely one of the talking points. But yeah, so hopefully y'all doing good. My tick bite is a lot better. I will change camera angles here. There's the old tick bite. It is definitely healed. I still got no cool superpowers. Not that I know of. I haven't got any, like, anything that I noticed new. Like, my speech hasn't improved. My grammar hasn't improved for none of y'all. So, you're stuck with me. That's all I can say. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on a podcast, I would like for y'all to reach out and send me a friend request, or you could just follow the page. You don't even have to send me a friend request on Facebook. But I've been working on the Facebook side of things, just in case YouTube puts me in jail again, like I was a couple weeks ago. And just to recap on that real quick, I have worked on some videos. I have them ready. I just gotta wait till like middle of June. So it's almost vacation time. Let us get past June, even y'all, and you will see video content. See, that tick didn't help me none with that. But now is the time to start preparing for hurricane season. We talked about that last week. It is 1,000 degrees out there today. June is hurricane season. So with that being said, now is the time to make sure that generator is running. I pulled mine out day before yesterday and ran it. Make sure that gas is good, because I don't know. There's already something swirling down there. I don't think it's going to develop into anything, but you never know. Kick off tonight real quick while people are joining. I know usually right when I start, there's still a lot of people getting home from church. So starting with that, there's been some bad storms rolling over like up towards Ohio last night. A lot of tornadoes, a lot of bad weather. Tomorrow definitely could be some bad weather too. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and knock the weather out of the forecast. Um, Pull up my favorite website here. Tropical Tidbits, great website. It will let you know all kind of stuff. Like I talked about last week, they are going to release the names of all the hurricanes that we're going to have in like a week. I can't remember the date. Maybe it was a week and a half. But hurricane season's coming. Statistically, we may get something this year. I hope not. I hope all we get is rain. That's all South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina needs. Man, it's bad. That's all I can say. If we don't get some rain soon, we ain't even gonna have no fish. It's pretty bad. So, with that being said, remember when you look at Tropical Tidbits, this is the date that you're looking at. This May 20th, which is obviously today, is 8 o'clock, which obviously is 8 because y'all are live with me. So, here is current prediction. Now, remember, these are just models. A lot of rain. That is what we so need. South Dakota, area North Dakota needs so much rain. Look at all that. Look at, oh my goodness, look at that green. Georgia, minus that little bad part right there. Look at that rain, Georgia. Georgia's got so many fires going on down there. They are in a major drought. It's going to rain. And you can see here, this is going into the 24th. Be prepared for some rain. Remember though, it hasn't rained in a while, so turn around, don't drown. That's all I gotta say, because I can't afford to lose any subscribers to this channel. But we're just gonna keep going. The 26th, 27th, I mean, it's gonna lay on top of us and give us some rain. I hope these models are accurate. Oh my goodness, that will be so much. But let's back it up just a hair right here off the coast of Florida. June the 3rd. Look at that. I ain't saying I ain't no weather meteorologist or anything. I can't predict half the stuff that I even know what I'm talking about. But that kind of swirls a little bit. Not saying it's going to be a hurricane by any means. And it's probably 2 weeks out. But much needed rain that we're going to get. Much needed rain. And like I said, currently, if we look at it, we getting a lot right now. Let me change me back here. So wish it would go back to my radar. Let's go back. Come on. There we go. So currently, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, y'all getting a lot of rain going on down there. Definitely some storms up here towards Nashville, Tennessee, Knoxville, and on up. So it's only starting. It's only starting. It's going to build up. So tomorrow, especially if you're in New York, I don't know how many people listen to me in New York or New Jersey or anywhere up that way, but for the next couple of days, wherever you are in the South, prepare for rain. So that's y'all's Wednesday weather update for sure. So the topic of today's video was the Winchester. I was going to say Winchester 700, and I don't even think that even is a model. The Remington 700. How many people's got a Remington 700? They have been around for decades. Like, it'd probably be staggering to know how many models of the 700 was built. Like, massive amounts of numbers. Did you know that there was a trigger recall? Not once, but twice. I did not know that. I own a 700. Did you know what the 700 trigger would happen? Supposedly, and I have to say the supposedly part because obviously mine has not done it. Thank you, Lord. But they never came out and said there was a problem. So I had to say that. Remington never said that there was a problem. But the story of the Walker trigger. The Walker trigger was designed by Remington engineer Mike Walker in 1940. The Walker patent trigger design, they patented it in 1950. They developed it across the bolt actions of World War II. It was smooth, it was reliable up till they found a flaw, but the model went on forever. Millions of rifles were made, especially the Model 700, introduced in 1962. So the rifle is a bolt action. The trigger connector is possibly what started the controversial over this trigger. The floating metal piece called the connector possibly was the problem. They blamed it on dust, rust, wear, improper alignment, debris, oil. But all of this could have been fixed. Well, we got to go back. And we got to go all the way back to 1946, 1948. So internal documents later revealed that Walker himself warned about a potential unsafe condition in early 1946 before the rifle ever reached the market. 1946. Walker proposed a safer redesign in 1948 that would add a trigger blocking feature. According to the documents, not my documents, but according to the documents and all the stuff that I've watched and read up on it, that one little change would have cost 5.5 cents per rifle. Now, 5.6 cents isn't a lot, but it is a lot in 1948 or 46 when he originally found the problem. Instead of fixing it, they just continue to go on with it, the original design. So, should they have done it? It's not on my back. But, so over the years, thousands of complaints came about of this 700. When taking the safety off, when unloading, when cycling the bolt, or even bumping it or jarring it would make it go off. So Jay Burr says, best action ever made. Yes, they have problems, but most accurate, in my opinion, Bergera used it in their guns. So, according to CNBC investigation, 24 deaths and 100 injuries were linked to these trigger. One of the famous cases was a 9-year-old Gus Barber who was killed in 2000 during a hunting trip when the Model 700 reportedly discharged as the safety was moved. There was a whole lawsuit against that. Now, that was in 2000. If we're talking 1940s to 2000, that's 50 years. Imagine how many they spit out over that time. Pretty dang, yeah. I have one myself. But how many people have had the 700 passed down from generation to generation to generation that probably knew about the safety recall, chose not to have it fixed, and then the next person gets it, don't know about it, and it accidentally goes off? That's what I'm really wanting to get to, is the topic of it. But that was not the only recall they had on the 700s. The X Pro trigger was the second recall. So in 2007, Remington introduced a redesign called the X Mark Pro. The new design removed the controversial connector piece, but in 2014, Remington recalled that trigger because bonding material used during the manufacture could cause unintended firing. So a settlement in 2014, Remington agreed to replace nearly, or roughly, big number, 7.85 million rifles as a nationwide class lawsuit. So the company still did not officially admit the triggers were defective. So with that being said, that was old Remington. We all know that Remington went through they went bankrupt. They got sold. If I'm not mistaken, I think they got sold twice. And I know Remington ammo went out. So could you get it replaced today under that if you had the old one? Nah, that long gone. Can't get it done. Many hunters still trust the 700. Like I said, got the 730-06. It was passed down and will be passed down. But when it gets passed down the next time, there will be a note attached to it that says, hey, if I didn't upgrade the trigger, by the time you receive this, it could go off. Which, that's fine. If you are a safe hunter, you typically get up in the stand and then load it, or condo or whatever. You should be pretty safe. But if you're carrying it back to the truck, unloading it at camp, there's always that what if, and that goes back to safety. Never point it at anybody, never, always treat it like it's loaded. So there's always that extra safety that we have. But like I said, 1946, he knew that there was a problem. He designed a new one. They wouldn't put the money into it. 1950, the trigger was patented. It was introduced in the 700s series in 1962. 1979 and 94, that's when Remington reported considering recalling internally. And like I said, you can look at these documents online. They internally emails and memos, and they talked about it. 1979 and 1994. Didn't do nothing about it. The X-Mark Pro trigger was introduced in 2007. CNBC investigates in the public spotlight in 2010. 2014, the massive trigger replacement settlement announced. So when you ask, can you get a replacement for the X-Mark? How do you know the difference? There's plenty of websites that show you what serial numbers, what they look like, different pictures. I can't show you them because we're on the live, but I would recommend, if you have a 700 and it was passed down to you, at least get it checked, look into it, and possibly changing triggers. They range from like 140 to 300, and it all depends on what you want. But certain models of the 700 and Model 7 that were made from 2006 to 2014 have that X-Mark Pro recall. So I would definitely check if I didn't know about it. So I'm definitely looking into possibly swapping my trigger group on mine. For one, they're great guns. The 700, there's so many people using the 700s. And then the automatic version of it was the 7400 series. Pretty much the same gun, but semi-auto. But the bolt action is unreal accurate for the model. How much better would it be with an aftermarket trigger? Well, pretty much aftermarket triggers always improve. You can play around with the spring tension. I think the stock was about 3.5 pounds. You can lower it, especially for deer hunting. But there are options out there. And like I said, if you don't change it and you're one of the hunters that say, hey, I've been hunting with it for 40 years, I'm going to continue. Like I said, just put a note on it somewhere or document it for the next generation that says, hey, there was a recall on it, but I chose not to. Just like the Taurus, Gen 1s, what is that Taurus? Is it the Millennium? I think it's the Millennium. Same problem. It would accidentally go off. You can get that one replaced today, but they're going to swap you. So if there's any, how can you say that? If there's any relationships change with that pistol or that rifle, like it was handed down to you as a keepsake, you need to know about it. You need to let the next person know about it. So I'm just interested, did anybody else know that 700 had a trigger problem? Not that yours would have that problem. Just saying, how many people knew about it? Because I never knew about 700s. It's definitely something to keep your eye on. If you've been hunting with the 700 for a long time and you never had problems and it just don't feel right, now you pull the trigger and you got a soft primer strike, all them issues. If it starts acting up, now that would be a great time to say, hey, I need to look into this. What is going wrong? Don't just say, oh, maybe that was a bad shell. Safety first. I mean, take a good gun, put a good trigger unit in it, better. So always let a gunsmith inspect it. You know, you always need a local gunsmith that you trust. Like I have one. Like you drop it off, it could be a couple weeks, could be a month. Not very fast, but I can promise you, when it comes back to you, you know he went through it and looked it all over and replaced anything that needed to be replaced. You always need a guy like that. Don't take it down to Joe Blow at the pawn shop and be like, hey, I need you to do this. Find a good gunsmith. Not that the pawn shop don't have a good gunsmith. I'm just saying, do your research on that, because once it goes boom, you can't take it back. Like, it's not coming back. Yep, the bankruptcy killed Remington. Man, can y'all remember how many Remington pump shotguns? I bet you if we looked at the Remington pump shotgun, the Remington 1100, the Remington 1187, the Remington what was the other, that was it the 800, what was the pump? If you just look at three of the shotguns, the 1100 and the 1187 by themselves, the semi-auto, and then throw in the pump on there, I can promise you the statistically numbers of waterfowl doves would be astronomical. Like I would probably say, oh man, 60-70% of probably most of the birds probably were taken with them three guns. The 1100, if you haven't seen the 1100 prices right now, now is not the time to possibly buy one. You should have done that like 10 years ago, because people that had 1100s growing up that were young, they say that they saw their father, their grandfathers shooting 1100s. Now they got money. They want to go buy them 1100s. And the 20 gauges, whoo, they have come down some, but whoo, you could get 1 to 2 modern shotguns compared to the prices of the 1100s now. Now, I do not own 1100. I do own a 1148, the 48 special, the Sportsman edition. The Remington 1148 or the 48 Sportsman had the cycle long recoil just like the Brownings. If you recall, Browning on the design Remington had the Model 11, which looks just like it, except it doesn't have the magazine cutoff, and you could not speed load the Remington Model 11. That was only, them two features were only on a Browning, but the Remington Model 11 was sent into war. A lot of Model 11s have the government stamp on them. Really cool guns. Are they as valuable as the Brownings? No. But that long action recoil where the barrel goes into the receiver, spits it out, and loads the next one was carried over into the round receiver, which became the 48 or 1148 Sportsman. It kicks like a mule, just like the Brownings or the A5 or the Model 11, because it's a long recoil. Then came the 1100, which was the first gas operated Remington fixed choke. Then came the 1187, and if I had probably 50 cents, we might even say a quarter, for every 1187 that was ever made, whoo, we may actually have a full production studio. Like, we might actually have a crew. There might be somebody I could afford to pay to talk that could pronounce all the words. That's how many 1187s that were made. 1187s were semi-auto. They were threaded chokes. Not going to say that was the first, but I'm pretty sure that was the first Remington threaded choke system was the 1187. I don't think they made any of the 1100s. I think all the 1100s were fixed chokes. Back in the day, you were 1100 man or A5. Absolutely, Jay. I mean, a lot of people don't know that rubber worms almost took out the whole bass population. When rubber worms were introduced, they had to almost ban rubber worms because so many people were catching fish on rubber worms. That is almost probably what happened during this time of the Remington era. Like, they were what everybody wanted. They saw the green name, they wanted it. Kind of started falling apart on the Versamax. I know a few people that's got them. Hard to find parts. They got a newer version of semi-auto, and they carried on the pump. They're not like our grandparents' guns anymore. Started in the late 80s. So I was a baby and then, Jay. But I would like to know. I mean, a lot of the records, when companies get bought out, they get bankrupt, they lose so many serial numbers. That's what happened to the A5s. There's so many serial numbers missing during generations. A lot of them times back in that day, a lot of manufacturers did not require serial numbers. So when there wasn't no serial numbers to keep up with, it's hard to get a total number of guns that were sold. I'm pretty sure somewhere around 1960 off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up. When serial numbers were required. Let's look it up. I'm thinking somewhere around the 60s. 1968 on long gun. Prior to October 22nd, 1968. So long rifles had to start putting dates on. Most of them by that time already did, but a lot of the Browning A5s you look at back in the day does not have that. And I can promise you one quick way to tell about A5s. And this is that squirrel moment that I was talking about. I get off topic every now and then, but this one is free. I will not charge anybody for this. When looking at a A5, old one, I'm not talking new inertia, old humpbacks. There's 4 triggers, 4 designs. There's 2 that are called suicide safeties. And there's 2 different type push. You can look up the image. You know real quick if you see the 2 suicide safeties, extremely old, and one is older than the other one. And when I say suicide safeties, the safety was inside the trigger, brain fart, trigger housing, trigger loop. Like you had to put your finger in the trigger guard to activate the safety. That's why they call it suicide safeties. There's 2 versions of that. One is really, really old. When you go to pawn shops, different events, gun shows, and you're just walking, when you scan the old timey guns, and you're looking for a humpback, and you see that suicide safety, 100% is old. 100%. Once you start looking at them, you start to notice other things, but the other thing that changed that will tell you closely years is the knob where your hand of the woodstock goes. That also gives away a telltale. If a humpback is like facing away from you, like I said, you at a show and you just looking on the shelf, if the side doesn't have the magazine cut off, it's not a Browning. It's either Savage or Remington. And under Savage, there was a lot of manufacturers like the Western Auto, the I can't even think of all the companies, Westward, or I think it's Westward, Westfield. There's a bunch of people that made them up under Savage. So if it doesn't have the magazine cut off, 100% telltale it is not a Browning. Once you get into the Brownies and you look in the top and you're looking across and you see one threaded, that is a Japan model. Telltale, unless somebody had one threaded, the original Browning humpbacks was not threaded. They were all fixed chokes. So there's the free knowledge for the humpbacks. But Remington, I hope one day becomes the green box that they used to be. Like if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, Remington had a hard case that came with them. I mean, it was made when you bought it. It wasn't cardboard. It was hard plastic, iconic green. I mean, it almost looked like the old fishing tackle boxes that we had. Hey, even if you just got the green boxes today, they sell for a pretty penny on websites. So if you ever just out and about and you see a green case, you might want to pick that up because they sell for a pretty penny. Because everybody looks for them for displays and stuff like that. Another thing that I want to talk about today, big talking point today. I'm going to share this on the screen too. This came out and it's circling the internets everywhere. If you're into reloading or into waterfowling, this just dropped. It says 4/30, as in April the 30th, and we're May 20th. Did it take that long for it to drop? I don't know. It started showing up about 2-3 days ago. What up, Mike Green? So the Department of Interior Fish and Wildlife Service. Now, there's a bunch of numbers in here. I am, again, not wanting to tell you advice. I am not going to tell any names not to buy. I'm just telling you what is released. You can go and read up on it because this could affect you this waterfowl season. Especially if you get checked by a game ward. I told y'all 3 weeks ago that I ordered the solid copper shells. I've been reloading it. I have a video of me reloading it and pattern testing it, and it looks amazing. But I felt like Donald Trump just right there for like, I don't know what to do with my hands, Ricky Bobby. Like, they're amazing. Like, it is amazing, the shell. But with that being said, it goes in here and it's talking about waterfowl and what they call them waterfowl. So regulations describe how the new non-toxic shell is evaluated and approved. It has to be a risk to birds and habitat. That's a joke there, Jay Bird. What's up, Chris? Mike Green. Now you know, I did not say I wanted to run the next 5K with you. Son, I don't like snakes, and if you were chasing me, I still ain't running a 5K. But before I die, and it ain't 100 degrees, I would like to participate in a walking 5K. I will say that. Hold on. Thank you very kindly. I've lost 6 pounds. Could have been the tick bite. Maybe I lost my appetite. But I am 6 pounds lighter. Thank you. But that being said, see, that was a squirrel moment there, Jay. You got me off topic. The all copper shells. You can buy the pellets. You can reload it yourself. I love reloading. I bought the pellets. I bought the wads. I bought the hulls. Little Debbie Christmas trees, man. Them things just hit just right. Whew. But there is a couple parts to this that you have to pay attention to. So, per this article, now will it change? Will manufacturers change? I don't know. What you got, is it legal? Also, not getting into that. Is it legal for you to load it your way? Not getting into that. I am only getting into what the document says. And it says that CIC shot is currently approved in the line. That's what it is. I actually had to go look that up. The brand that I bought is CIC. Now, is this, I will put my tinfoil hat on. I got my tinfoil hat on. Is this big company trying to make little company out of business? Possibly. Is it money in the pockets of people who write documents? I don't know. I got my hat on. So, with that being said, it comes in here and it tells you about the percentage of copper and what it can and can't be. But the following applies right here. This is what is for use. Pure copper shot is not approved. I don't know. What does that mean? It means solid, complete right now is not approved. Why is it not approved? Is it because it needs a coating on it? Is it because of a little extra powder that you have to put in there? Is it because the hull? Is it because, I don't know. I am no lawyer. I am pretending not to be one. I'm just releasing that this came out today, and we are, might as well say June, July, August, September. We're 3 months, maybe 3.5 months away for goose season. We're 3 months away, well, maybe closer to 4 months, because that's in the later parts up to of early till season. We don't have no water. Who cares about what shell we're shooting? Because hey, we might not even have no shells or water. We might as well just go out there and kick up dust if it continues no rain. But we getting rain. I showed y'all we're getting rain. We're going to get rain for days. So hopefully that changes. But it says the CIC is the only copper-based shot that is approved. Now, I still got my hat on. I haven't took it off. Is that because that's patented? Did they find something better? And why does that coating make it better? I don't know. Does that mean? I don't know what that means. This is why this is here. This is why we need to know as waterfowl hunters what to do. Again, if you're planning to tote this and the game warden checks you, what does that mean? I can promise you, saying, well, I didn't know, ain't going to help you. That doesn't work. Ignorance of the law is not on your side. But it says it contains at least 99.9% copper. Can't be 100%. And it has to have that BTA fluorescent powder in it. And once I publish my video, I can show you the powder. I call it alien powder. It's white. It goes everywhere. It's kind of like a buffer. And I'm telling you, it is so fine. I had it everywhere. I had it in my eyes, my face, and I'm like, it like it was multiplying. The more I rubbed, the more I had it everywhere. But under a UV light, it turns green. It will turn green. So that is why they say you got to have it in a translucent hull, which is what? Clear. Why? Because the lawman is supposed to wind their little light on it and it changed colors. Now, would that make some companies illegal if they don't have that? I don't know. It just says be loaded in a translucent hull. Now, I will say, I loaded mine in a translucent hull, but I also ordered the components for 28 gauge. And guess what? They didn't have translucent in 28 gauge. So I got red, which I can load for other stuff. But according to this paper, that is pretty much probably strict law, me reloading 28 gauge in a different color hull would not make me legal. So with that being said, you need to read up on this. And right here, manufacturers may submit new shot material or coatings for evaluation following that procedure, unless the service adds to them through rulemaking. It goes down here to tell you what is legal and the field device. I have seen game wardens use magnets. I do know of the device. I had never seen one. I really want to see one, but I also really don't want to get checked. But they have a device that a game warden could drop a shell in, and it has some type of meter. Like I said, I've never seen it. It's only hearsay. But it has some kind of like meter on there that can analyze the shell and tell you what components are in it. Like components as in metals, not components as in water, powder. But I'm wondering if it's called that hot shot. I don't really know what the name of it is. Down here it just says the hot shot, a field testing device. I don't know what the real name is. Has anybody ever seen one? I know South Carolina has them. Only certain game wardens have it. Now, what do they typically do? They typically put a magnet on it. If it came down to questioning, they probably would cut one open. But who knows? Mike says, run, walk, crawl, that's good enough. Son, I can promise you running is completely out. I might would run the last few steps just to say I ran it. But I do want to do a 5K one day. Maybe in between the months of January and March. And let's say November to December, because I don't want to do it in the heat. And I especially don't want to do it in the South during the humidity. Now, I would say, minus all the people, it would be really, really cool to do the Charleston Bridge. That would be pretty cool. I probably would get about halfway and feel that bridge moving, and I probably would freeze up. Would it be moving as much as cars? I don't know. I'm sure it moves with the wind. I don't, but the view would be amazing. But I also, if you're old enough to remember the old Charleston Bridge, I would have not ran it. I remember it as a kid. I remember the old bridge. You did not even want to hardly be on that bridge in the car. You wanted to get over it as fast as you could because sketchy. Um, Sketchy ain't even a word. Like, if you ever went across that old Charleston Bridge, if you didn't know the Lord Himself before you went across the bridge, you were a believer after you got over that bridge. I'm sure there's people got saved going over that bridge because, whew, boy, it was. I bet. Let me pull up a picture of the old Charleston Bridge. I get us on one. Jay says, got to get to bed. Last outage. Uh, Last day of the outage, 12s tomorrow. Y'all stay safe. All right, Jay, I appreciate it. Let's see. Old Charleston Bridge. It was, whew, telling you. All right, so let me share my screen here. So here's the old Charleston Bridge. And right here is the new one, and then the old one is right there. But it was all metal. Look at that right there. Tell me. Mm, it terrified me as a kid. I ain't even gonna lie. Because then it had this split. Even when I think this went probably mid 90s. I'll look up right here. Old Cooper River Bridge, 2005. So I knew it was well after I was driving. But look at that. That thing was sketchy. And then you had the single lane over here. How many people went over that? That's left in the comments. How many people rode on that old bridge? I mean, it was steep too. Ooh. Look at that old Buick right there. Yeah. But it definitely served its purpose. The new bridge is even bigger. I mean, you can see here that the bridge is actually taller than the old bridge, but oh man. Hey Jeff, y'all get any storms day before yesterday? Look like y'all getting some rain out there. Uh, but who was scared as a kid to go over that old bridge? Cause there's a video of it right here, but I can't play that video. But man, Jeff, I know you were living in Georgia during this time period. Do you ever remember going across the old Charleston Bridge? Not that wouldn't have been too far from where you probably were growing up in Georgia, but man, we might do that. That might be one of them bucket list kind of deals. We might have to do it, but if it's in the months of May, June, July, or August, I'm out. I'm out. I can't. The steep as that bridge is, there is not enough water to requench my body of the humidity that would be in Charleston during that time period of the heat. Now, what would be cool is if they had a slide down the other side. Like, could you get in a kayak and then slide down the other side and end up down there in the marsh? That would be fun. Maybe that could be a new thing. If you ever watch on YouTube, there are some guys who get into these drainage ditches. I have no idea where they are. They definitely speak in English. but they're drain ditches, and they get in them with kayaks and they go down it. And I mean, they are flying down these drain ditches, and it is steep. And then it launches them at the end. Really cool. Probably would like to do that. But last week I watched some kayakers go over a dam. It was a smaller dam. It did not have, and my brain just went dead. There's different types of dams that you do not go over, and I cannot remember what it is. My Swiftwater uh, days is not kicked in. Uh, what is that called? Oh man! And I know as soon as I'm gonna look it up, I know it's gonna be right there. The low head dam, that's right. So when a low head, it basically just drops off, and then you just end up spinning inside the water, the current. But this one that I watched the other day, the kayakers went over, and it had a lip which made them go up, and it also keeps the low head from creating that turbulence that actually kills people. But it's called a hydraulic jump. It's pretty bad. If you ever get caught in one, not that I have, but per classes, when you get sucked down to the bottom, you're supposed to then feel the bottom and then like kick off and go out. Will it work? I don't know, but I know if you don't do nothing, you're just gonna sit there like a washing machine and just get beaten till you just drown. Going to go do the Murphy this weekend. Where's the Murphy? And how many K's is that, Mike? The Murphy is a grueling. You lost me right there. A grueling CrossFit hero who created it in honor of a Navy SEAL. Oh, that's the workout, Murphy workout. But I typed in Murphy run. I wonder if it's named after the same guy. Give me some more details, Mike. Is it 5K? Well, he talks that it says in South Carolina and nationwide. No, I'm probably out of that, Mike. If that has anything to do with what I'm reading up on, having to do push-ups and a run 1 mile run and 300 squats, nah, bro. Yeah, it was severe. Yes, I've been over that bridge. I was too young to drive. There was on our over Clark's Hill Reservoir that was also terrible. Uh, I, I don't remember the one over Clark's Hill, but I have been to Clark's Hill, so I do know where that's at. But no, I don't know that one. But um, got sidetracked. I don't even remember what I was saying. Yeah, lost my train of thought, which happens. But right now, there's not a whole lot going on. There ain't a whole lot of hunting going on. We can't really hunt anything. It's fishing. I knew where I was going when I said fishing. I looked up and saw the baby Jesus. Me and my son Monday we went fishing. We didn't catch Jack. I mean, literally, if Jack was out there, we couldn't even caught him. That's how bad fishing was Monday. But we took the worms. I had the worms on here that I've been giving out. I took them downstairs. They're in the truck, so they're not up here. I need to put a pack up here to remind me to talk about it. So, I started a couple months ago, rubber worms and handing them out. Um, I wanted y'all to pray over the rubber worms because on the paper that I have, it's pretty much saying, hey, these rubber worms are more than rubber worms. People have been praying over these things. Uh, Basically, it goes in there and talks about Jesus Christ, and it's glued to the back of the worms. And we handed out, I don't even know how many Monday. I would give them to my son and let him do it. And he would walk up to people and say, here you go. And they'd be like, oh, thank you, thank you. Here, you want to swap some worms? That blew me away to start with. One, so many people were wanting to take it, for one. And that's why I said I glued it on the, glued it on the back. So this is so easy. You can share the faith with people at the boat ramp and fishing without having to share it verbally. I know that a lot of people get nervous about it. A lot of people. And it's okay. Because when people have questions, I don't know the answers to them either. I might know bits and pieces of the Bible. Heck, I can't even pronounce half the words in them. I am not a great theologian by any means. I don't have a problem talking to people, but people do have that problem. With that printed on the back, you can hand them to them and it looks like a regular pack of worms, because that's what it is. It's a regular pack of worms. They're going to either take that and put it in their tackle box, but eventually they're going to see the back side of that when they open it up and be like, huh, what is that? You will be long gone by then. Because when you hand it to them, they don't just flip it over. They just say, oh, a pack of worms, thank you. Then you can walk away, but you're still planting seeds. So this is something you could do with your kids. We have so much fun with this because I could take him to Bass Pro Shop and say, hey, we need some worms to hand out. He gets to pick the colors that he wants. He's getting involved with it. He's also getting involved with handing the worms out to people, which is working on him ministering to other people. And he got so excited handing it out. But the second thing that blew me away was the people that would be like, hey, let me give you a pack of worms. We'll do a trade. And that blew me away, that, you know, people were saying, hey, I appreciate it. Let me do a swap with you. Like, that was the coolest thing ever. And most of the time he was like, no, 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 no. These are for you. You keep these. And it was so great to see him being able to share it, and you're sharing the faith and the message and then providing something that they can actually use for what? $4 to $5 a pack. It's pretty cheap. I did have the baby Jesus glued to the packs, which I thought was a really great idea, until they got hit and bounced, and baby Jesus did not like to stay on the rubber worms. So I'm going to have to rethink how I packaged the baby Jesus. But baby Jesus did not like to stay on the rubber worms. So, and it could have been also that I would take in like 4 or 5 packs, put them in my back pocket, and pulling out and handing them to him. So it was knocking the baby Jesus off. So version 2.0 will be better, but the note is still there. That was the main thing, was the note, but it's easily something y'all could do. It's what I said, meeting the people at the boat ramp where they are. We already got something in common. You can, hey, tell them. You never know where that might lead to. That's just planting the seed. They might not see that note for another month, 2 months, but hopefully they see it. They will read it. And on that note, it says that people have been praying for them. So I continue. Like I said, I don't have a pack up there tonight because I took them all with me. But continue to keep praying for them worms in that mission. I really never really wanted to call it a mission because I really didn't want, I don't know. I don't want to say that it's a mission. It's just a side gesture that me and my son's doing that. And it's getting him to know that, hey, I need to be praying over this for people to be accepted to what I give them, and also spread the word with them. So something you could do with your kids, something that is easy to do, easy to hand out. So that's about all I got tonight. So hopefully Everybody is doing pretty good. So hope we get a lot of rain that it is showing and predicting that we're going to get. We so need it. Our farmers are so hurting. The droughts. Um, just stay safe out there. Um, but that's about all I got. Remember, we talked about the 700. If you got a 700 and it never had the trigger replaced and it was passed down, maybe get it inspected by a gunsmith. And remember, always just leave a note for the next person you pass it down to. Or, here's a theory, remind the person that you plan to give it to, hey, there was a recall on these safeties. It could go off. You know, they may never shoot it. It could be, hey, this was my great grandfather's, and hang it above the mantle and it never be a problem. But it could be a problem. So you always want to look out for the future generation. Remember, read up more on them shells because you don't want to be caught in between. I'm sure between waterfowl season, a lot of things are going to change. So you need to stay on top of it. And I got one awesome joke that I'm going to say before closing. Did y'all know that Arkansas was in the Bible? It was. Arkansas was in the Bible. Noah looked out the Arkansas. Woo! It's time to get off. So let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for everything you bless us with. Thank you for the rain that's coming. Be with the people that still have to work out in there. The first responders, the linemen, the cable installers, the DOT, the construction workers, and the list goes on. Be with them people that have to be out in that weather, Lord. Keep them safe. Keep them safe as they're out there. Bring them home safely. Be with our military. There's so much going on with our military. Keep them safe. Keep their family safe, that they don't even have to be worrying about their family while they're gone. Protect them. Put a extra love on them, that they know that you are with them. Be with them rubber worms that have not been give out yet. Let the people be accepted to read it and to understand it and to come to know you. But also be with the people that we already gave them to. I pray that other people also like this idea and do it with their kids, and spread the knowledge and wanting people to get involved, knowing your name. And I appreciate you sending your son to die on the cross for my sins and my kids' sins, my future grandkids, and so on. And I thank you. Thank you for everything you provide us with. We can't even count the blessings. Thank you for everything you do, and keep us safe. Amen. So hopefully everybody has a good rest of the week. Hey, remember, Monday, holiday, don't do nothing stupid. If you drink, don't drive. I don't drink, so I probably ain't driving either, because I ain't going to be out there. But Memorial Day weekend, don't do nothing stupid. This day and age, there's a Uber somewhere probably around you that can come pick you up. I can promise you that Uber is cheaper than what you're going to spend in court fees or license or having to buy a moped and ride a moped in the rain. So be smart. Don't take out. Usually what happens is when you drink and drive, the drink and driving people don't die. It's the other people that get hit. They're usually so drunk that they bounce off and don't even know to flinch up. Don't be that person. Don't take out a family. Don't wreck multiple families just because you want to go party over Memorial Day weekend. Go bust some clays. Y'all stay safe, and I'll see y'all next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I will say over June, we will have Wednesday nights. There will not be a whole lot to talk about because it's nothing in season right now. And heck, most of you are going to be going on vacation. Also, should have prayed for the graduates. So let me take a moment. Our Heavenly Father, be with our graduates. Don't let them think that they got to go out and party to have fun. They don't. Keep them safe. There's so much that's going to be going on with our graduates. They are now stuck between, what do I do? They think they're adults, but they're not. They're stuck between, do I go to college? Do I don't? Do I go straight to work? Do I go straight to the military? Hey, they don't even know what they want to do. Half the time, I don't even know what I want to do at my age. So be with the graduates. Have influencers step into these graduates and let them know that they don't have to go out and party. There's so many graduates that their lives are completely changed after graduation. Completely changed as in partying. Completely changed that they're leaving the nest and going to college. And it's completely different than what they're normally used to. This is our time that we can help these young people grow. Be with our graduates. Protect them. Keep them safe. Amen. So it was a squirrel moment. I just thought about it. But be with our graduates. So many people are graduating. Man, I remember graduation 20. Yeah, time to go. I'll see y'all next Wednesday. Y'all have a good one. Y'all be safe. Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information. The link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew. Flint Ridge Hauling Service, LLC, has partnered up with the channel. It is your go-to provider for all your hauling needs. They are not just any hauling service. They are an active DOT interstate hotshot hauling provider. Flint Ridge Service LLC prides itself in its reliable transportation services. This team ensures that your cargo is delivered safely and on time no matter the distance. Whether you need to transport goods across the county or state line, they have the capacity and the expertise to meet your hauling needs. Equipped with a smooth riding 40-foot air ride equipped trailer and a max hauling capacity of 20,000 pounds, there's no load too big or too small that they can't handle. Look no further than Flint Ridge Hauling Service LLC.